why your son lies to you and what you can do to stop it. You've probably caught your son in a lie before, or you wondered, okay, why doesn't he trust me? You've probably had thoughts, mom, about him not being fully opening up to you. So if that's the case, keep watching. So if you're new here, my name's Agam Dewan. So I'm a child, adolescent, and adult psychiatrist. So it's my job to help out moms, help their sons thrive and to better connect with them. Let me tell you a story. So one time, I remember, this is my personal story. I remember that I had just gotten robbed. And after the robbery, I call up my dad and I tell him what happened. And so we took care of it, right? Called the police and all that. But when it came to talking with my mom, we both agreed not to tell her. And the reason we both agreed not to tell her was because it would cause a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, and then I would have to manage her anxiety, and she would say stuff like, "Oh, you should move," and "No, you can't be staying here anymore." And so, which wouldn't really help me in that situation. I remember when I was in college, I had a college buddy, and this guy, him and his dad would beef a lot about gaming. Like his dad would hate games, and he'd frequently take them away, and he thought that they were affecting his academic performance, and they would always fight over it, and it was quite a battle. And so what my friend would do is that he would sneak out to play games. So that's why he had him in his room, secretly, do handhelds, or when he would be in college, he would stay out late playing games with us, and because he wanted to hide it all from his parents. My point with this is that as men, as teenage boys, as young adults, we lie to our parents because of how they're going to react. And I'll give you the opposite example. So I recently just saw this 18-year-old kid. So he's having trouble with mood lability, a lot of anxiety, getting irritated a lot. We were talking about drinking, and so he said that, yeah, he drinks 9 drinks on the weekends and at the pregame, and then a couple of drinks when he goes out. And his mom was right there in the appointment. And so I remember saying, wow, I'm surprised you admitted that for your mom. And so she goes, yeah, we like to have an honest relationship. And so I was like, yeah, I think that's something that you're doing really well, because I noticed, was very non-judgmental during the whole thing. She just listened to him say that, and she didn't go, oh my God, you're drinking that much. Because every time you do something like that, you suppress his desire to be open and communicate with you. By your negative reaction, you make his behavior want to avoid that reaction. And so that's why the mom, even though the kid was drinking a lot, yelling at him wasn't going to change his drinking. It would just make him hide it from her. And the reason why this is so important is because let's say that you have a kid who, let's say they're in high school and they want to go party, right? So if they want to go party, I have some patients who parents will say, no, absolutely, you're not allowed. And then the kid will sneak out anyway. My thought process around that has always been, okay, if they want to party, they're probably going to go do it. So, make sure that you're open and honest about it. You communicate with each other. So that way, let's say an issue comes up, for example, the kid needs a ride home, then you can offer that ride home to them instead of them hiding it from you and then getting a DUI or, something worse, like a death happening. This is a hugely important point, because the reason that boys lie is because they're afraid of getting in trouble. They're afraid of disappointing you. They don't want to avoid any uncomfortable situations or conversations, and they are afraid of what your reaction is going to be. Now the question is, right, what do you want to value more? Do you value the right action, you're reprimanding, the not drinking, for example, or do you value the relationship with your kid? So, if I were you, I would advise you that, hey, you should focus on the relationship with the kid, right? And so even if they're doing stuff that you don't want to, that's better than them doing it and hiding it from you. If you want to get them to tell you the truth about anything, you have to do 3 things. One of them is that you have to remove the fear of punishment. You can go into a situation and say, hey, I want to talk to you about something, and, you're not going to get punished for what you tell me. And so that way, you're rewarding the honesty, right? Because that's the thing that you're trying to work on. Now, if it's an egregious thing, right? They destroyed something, or this might owe money, right? Then might still be things that need to be done to correct the situation. But the most important thing is that you're avoiding that immediate punishment of your reaction. The second thing is that you want to praise his honesty. So even if the truth is bad, right? You want to say, hey, I appreciate you telling me. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for your candor. And so the reason for that is because with our positive attention, we reward the behavior that we want. So we want to reward the behavior of honesty. That's the most important thing, right? If you want a good relationship with your child, honesty, rewarding that is going to be so important. So whenever they are honest, you make sure to adjust your behavior so that way it facilitates their honesty in the future. What you can also do is to say that I won't be mad, like just I would like to hear the truth. And you actually have to mean it too. Like so many times, I've had situations where, I think about it in my family where, I say, don't be mad, don't want you to react badly. And then like I'll say something and then my mom, despite her best interest, like she'll get upset or she'll get anxious. And then I'm like, oh my God, like I knew this was not worth it. Like, for example, I remember one situation where I was with my mom or I was just talking to her. She said that, you don't ever tell me stuff. And so I was like, okay. Well, I was recently seeing this girl. And so I decided to tell her that I was seeing her and that I had spent the night with her. And I wasn't dating her. And so she immediately launches into a thing about how unsafe that is and how I could have been taken advantage of and how immoral it can be too. And then I was like, oh my gosh, like this is why I didn't tell you in my head. So I just I didn't argue with her. I just kind of let her go. And then, afterward, I made a mental note, like, okay, I'm never telling you about like romantic stuff again because, this is how she's going to react, right? So if you want honesty and truth from your son, then you have to behave and act in a way for you to facilitate that. And so, if you are struggling with this, if you're having trouble, if your son's having mental health problems, feel free to reach out, book a consult in my bio. And I'm looking forward to seeing you soon and hope to see you in the next video.